I'm Eric Dow. I'm the owner of Wonko's Toys and Games, along with my wife and daughters. And we run a family-friendly game store here. And this is my first time playing Compounded.
Hey everybody, this is Kraken Dan. I know you've seen me on lots of videos with Talks playing games. I'm usually the one who beats them. I'm here to play Compounded at Wonko's Games here, and I played it once before. It's pretty fun. Looking forward to playing it again.
All right, we are here at beautiful Wonko's in Austin, Texas, and we are about to play Compounded, Better Gaming Through Chemistry. And what we've done is we've set everything up and gotten ready to go, and we're only going to cheat on one piece, and we'll explain that in a second. So to begin with, to set up the lab, we have 9 basic elements, which are the faintly yellow bordered compounds up here. Then we have a couple of extra compounds that are drawn from the compound deck. And if anyone has played this before, you know. If you haven't played this before, it's good to know. There are fire cards in that deck that could potentially wreak havoc in our lab. In Compounded, you and other players will be scientists trying to score the most atomic points. The primary way to do that is by completing compounds in the lab. You're going to use your claim tokens to lay claim to specific compounds. You're then going to draw different elements from the element bag and place them on corresponding circles that match their colors. When you complete a compound, you're going to be able to score that compound's points if your claim token is on it. In addition, you can increase the level of your experiment on your workbench of the corresponding icon. In this case, it's the discovery experiment, so you would move that up one additional level. Additionally, there are some compounds like calcium cyanamide that when completed will score you the 6 victory points, or whatever number is in the upper right, allow you to increase the corresponding experiment, in this case study, and give you a lab tool, in this case the goggles. There are several different tools, some that could be beneficial to you, some that could be harmful to your opponents. And then finally, there are compounds like acetylene that when completed will not only score you points and raise the level of the experiment's icon, in this case is research, but will act as though a fire has just happened in the lab. Normally, a fire is triggered by drawing a lab fire card when replacing completed compounds in the lab area of the player board. In this case, if you complete acetylene, it acts as though a fire just happened because the chemical compound mixture was so volatile. And finally, to kickstart the beginning of the game, there are some compounds that have a faint yellow border, lower point values, and easier to complete compounds, but will still allow you to raise the level of your experiments on your board. These help kickstart the game in the beginning and allow you to get some points and increase your capabilities from the experiment results on your workbench. We each have a score token that's going to start on the periodic table of atomic points, which is what's going to determine the best scientist. At the end of the game, who has ever scored the most points is going to win the game. You score points by completing the compounds, and in addition to completing the compounds and scoring points, you get to move up your experiments. Your experiments are your 4 little test tubes that are on your workbench, and you have discovery, study, research, and lab, and each one corresponds to a different phase of a turn. The discovery phase is going to allow us to draw more elements from the compound, or from the element bag. The study phase is going to allow us to claim compounds of compounds that are out on the board. The research phase is going to allow us to place compounds, and the lab is going to allow us to hold more elements on our workbench. We're going to start the game with the capacity to hold 4 elements on our workbench, and as we move that experiment up, we'll be able to hold more. So the whole game goes around where you're completing compounds using your elements, gaining more points, gaining more abilities, and doing more things. In addition to that, there are some extra additives here. We have fire tokens for when things get set on fire or potentially blow up. And then we have different tokens that are going to allow us to use special powers that you'll notice are also listed on the players' workbenches. Some of them are very good for you, some of them are very bad for your opponents depending on how you use them. So normally, and this is where we're going to cheat, normally the person who draws the 4 most expensive elements or most rare elements will go first. That would have been Kraken Dan, but since Eric is nice enough to let us film in his location and providing the real estate, we're going to let him go first with the really cool first player lab key. Now, The beginning of each turn normally starts with the discovery phase, but the very first turn, you skip that because you start with all 4 of your elements. So we'll put the element bag a little bit over here out of the way, and then we will begin with the study phase, where you can place 1 claim token onto any compound that is unclaimed.
Cool. Let's see. Being a car guy, I think methanol sounds good to me.
Methanol for the car guy, that's good. Kraken Dan?
I like cyanide.
Uh-oh.
All right, and then I am going to claim formaldehyde. All right, now we go directly into research, and research is going to allow us to place elements from our workbench onto compounds in the lab. Right now, we all start the game with 2 points in research, so we can place 2 elements onto compounds.
I think the hydrogen goes well on the methanol.
Oh, that's just way too boring.
I'm going to go nitrogen.
Nitrogen.
Double nitrogen.
All right. And then I am going to go oxygen and calcium here and here. All right. And that literally is the end. We have a lab phase at the end where we would manage compounds in the lab. We would check to see if anything is completed. If it would, we would score. But in this case, it isn't. So we actually go on to round 2.
We'll pass the...
Passing the key to
Pass
the lab.
the key over to Kraken Dan, and
All
he is
right.
the new first player. All right, so now we have a discovery phase. So
Right.
starting with you, you're going to draw 2 elements out, and boom, it's going to blow up. All right, watch this double sulfur. No,
That's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
It's not the one I was looking for, but that's
Nah,
okay.
I'm going to pull 2 of your greens that you need now, probably.
Exactly. You're going to steal all my calcium.
I got another carbon.
I keep waiting
And
for the
another
earth-shattering
carbon.
kaboom.
Lots of carbon.
The earth-shattering kaboom.
Earth-shattering
Funny.
kaboom.
That'll happen. We'll get there. We'll get there. Oh, there's my red. Okay.
Somebody actually brought in a Marvin the Martian Pez dispenser the other day.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
So I get to, now we move to...
Now you can move or place a claim token in the study phase. We don't have claim tokens.
Right. So we're going to skip that step.
We're going to skip
at
that
this point.
step. You can move your claim token if you want to, based on what you now have from a draw, though.
I see. Yeah, that's true. But I think I'm going to stick with that one. I'm going to move then to the research phase.
Okay.
And place
Well,
my...
no, you don't move the research phase. You choose if you want to move it.
Oh, that's true. I guess you're right.
Then-
I'm not going to move anything.
Okay, then I am going to move something, and I'm going to move over here, actually.
Oh!
Interesting.
Now you can go.
Wow. Well, with that, since I don't have any hydrogen, there's no reason to go jump your claim on that one. I think I'm okay.
Okay, all right. So now we go to the research phase.
Finally. Okay.
Yes, you can now place 2 of your
I'm going to go ahead and
compounds.
play the carbon here.
Okay.
And based on the difficulty of getting calcium, I'm going to go ahead and use my wild card right now.
Okay.
Oh,
Perfect.
wow.
Do that.
All right. Perfect. Good. Okay. I will place a hydrogen and a calcium right there.
Carbon.
Actually, no. I'm going to keep my hydrogen, and I will place 2 carbons, and leave that as it may be. So we'll see how that turns out for us. All right. Owner.
I am going to place my carbon and my oxygen,
Excellent.
hoping for a double white draw.
That is very good. Okay, perfect. And then we would go to the lab phase. Yours is the one that scores, so you will go ahead and get 6 points, and we will move you up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Ouch.
And these will go back into the bag. This will go away. You will move your study up by 1,
Correct.
and you will get a pair of goggles, which is pretty good. Not too shabby. All right, those will go back in the bag. All right, so the last thing we do is get rid of this card. And if you want to hold on to it, you can. And then, Eric, if you will go ahead and flip out a new card for us. And we have nitric acid. Beautiful. All right. So that is the end of round 2, I guess, at this point. And then I will go ahead and take the lab key because I'm so cool. And I will just start my discovery phase. And I will draw 2 really cool, really wicked elements. Yeah, and get nothing but hydrogen, baby. There you go.
I'm hoping for that.
Is that what you want? Well, I just took 2 of them,
2
so there's
lucky.
only like 35,000 left in the bag.
Well, maybe we can do some trading.
2 whites, 2 blacks. You're probably gonna pull 2 yellows now, right?
That would be cool.
That would be
I'll get
pretty
to at least
cool.
keep, well,
No, 2 whites. All right. So at this point now, you have more elements than you have in your workbench space. You are allowed to trade. So you could maybe trade like a 2 or 3 for 1 if you wanted to try and do that. And at the end of that trading phase, you would then have to put elements back into the bag that are exceeding your workbench capacity. So
That's true. I know you need white, right?
Yeah, you know what?
What would you trade for one?
I would be willing to trade a nitrogen for 2 of the hydrogens.
And the bidding begins.
Yeah, see?
Then you're gonna have to. Then you'll be over, and you'll have to discard.
No. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he would probably more than likely discard something that's not a hydrogen at that
Yeah.
point.
Probably a carbon.
Do I need a nitrogen? Is the question.
Who
There's
doesn't
a lot of nitrogen out there, so that is
yeah,
pretty
there
good.
is a lot of
Yeah, you know what?
nitrogen.
I'll do that. I'll trade you the 2 whites for
right.
your blue.
Awesome.
Very
And
good.
then, and I no longer have the problem of having too
You've
many.
just passed on
you
that
don't,
problem.
but he has that
Right.
problem
Yep.
now. So, and I really don't need anything from you. So I'm just going to let you ditch something
Yeah.
back into the bag.
Right.
So now the trading phase is really fun because you can trade anything except for atomic points and study levels. So you could. You could say, I'll take your sister out on a date if you want, whatever you wanted to do. Well, it depends, like Chevy Chase said, right? Stop right there and I'll bring back the sun. All right. Cool. All right, so we've drawn. We now go into the study phase, and if we wanted to move, we can move. I will go ahead and move, and I will move my claim token back over to formaldehyde. Again, I'm just a jumping scientist. I'm all over the place. Would you like to move said claim?
I think... Actually, funny you should mention that. No, I'm going to stay where I'm at.
You stay where you're at?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And then, Dan, you get to place 1
of my 2.
of your 2, and then we would have another option to move based on where you went, and then you would go ahead and fire away. Actually, you technically have passed. I've moved, you've passed, so you're
good
done.
point.
I get the gut feeling I'm passing, though, when it comes to me.
But now, if you had passed and I had passed, he'd only get 1 shot at it, right?
I have 2
No,
tokens,
he has
so I
2
would still
tokens.
do twice.
He would still be able to put both his out, yeah.
So there.
Because he's a cheater McCheatapants.
Well,
I used my
He
wild card
follows the
early.
rule, yeah. So-
He spent the 2 points early? And
It's pretty
probably had a
amazing.
benefit.
I've played a lot of games where the wild card. In fact, the first game we played, you won because of the wild card. Zach and I had both used our wild card elements, and you did not.
I'll go here.
All right, and then I will pass, and then you can play your second cheater McCheaty token.
I'll go here.
I thought you would. You
Look at that.
scumbag. All right, and then we would move on to research, so we can place 2. So I will go ahead and place both hydrogens on formaldehyde.
Yeah.
Which seems pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You, dear said store owner,
I think that I am also going to place my 2 hydrogens.
finish in the methanol.
Methanol is done.
And
I will place 1 here.
it's too bad you don't have a wild token.
That's all right. I actually gave up the 2 whites. I could have.
That's right. That's right.
I'll do
There
that.
you
But I
go.
wanted the blue, so.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. So now we check anything is completed, and they have. So we have 2. So the formaldehyde for me completes. These will go back into the elemental bag. I will score 6 points and be right on top of Kraken Dan. And I will move my research up 1. This will come back to my study board, and then you will score methanol.
All right. And we'll put that into the elemental bag of holding. There we go.
And you get
That comes
7
To my study.
and take the early lead.
And I will advance my discovery so I can now draw 3.
That is very nice. And then we get 2 cards going from top left to bottom right, so that gets filled first. And then
Okay. Oh,
hydrogen
there we go.
Sulfide.
Tough one.
And hydrogen peroxide.
Ooh.
Double O, double H.
Wow.
All right. Now, this has a symbol that we haven't seen before and we haven't talked about before, but is really cool. Whenever a scientist completes this compound, they have to choose another scientist, and they get to move one of their experiments up 1 level. So it's really good for them because it's 6 points in a research, or 6 points in a discovery, but it also is going to help somebody else. So that is the end of round 3. So we move on to round 4. You get the key of awesomeness, and you're up.
All right.
Discover away.
And you get 3.
3.
3 and get to discard 1.
Uh-oh.
Oh, look at that. It's a sulfur.
Okay.
We're good. All right. So
Sulfur. Not going to be discarding that.
I don't know. Got a blue and 2 reds, and there's really only one thing that requires sulfur right now, and you don't have the other elements for it.
No.
Maybe a trade coming.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh boy, another hydrogen. I can feel it coming. Ooh, and a calcium. I like that. Alrighty. So, study phase. Would you like to place your 1 token?
Think that I would.
Think hard. There's another methanol. You could go double methanol.
You know.
You don't want to overdose on methanol, though.
That would be a bad
That would
thing.
be bad.
Looking for something with a bonus. I just don't see anything with a bonus out there. So I'm going to do something that I'm hoping during the trade phase I can bid on some later benefits.
Nice. I like it. I like it. Okay. Dan, you could move yours.
Yeah, I'm good.
You're good? Okay. Then I get to go. It's great I have a green, but I don't really have anything to go with the green, which is kind of a bit of a bummer. So, yeah, I see that over there. I do see that over there. I actually think that I am going to... Let's see. This is tough.
He has to discard one.
He will after we. Oh yeah.
that was right. We need to do a trade.
It's over. Yeah, I'm sorry.
We
Yeah,
got to back the bus up.
back it up. That's okay. That's fine.
Okay.
So yeah, we can do trading now. I forgot about that. So let's go back and do trading. So that's interesting.
I'm not too terribly worried about discarding this phase because I do have the 2 reds and I only place 2. However, getting myself loaded up for the next phase might not be too bad.
I would love one of your reds.
I'm going to use both my reds this turn, unfortunately.
I would love one of your reds.
Yeah, I would. I don't know about that. I need the red for my nitrous oxide,
Sure.
but
No, I know. Yeah.
I also need your blue. So
Well, I would be willing to give you my blue for your red and white.
what? Are you crazy? No.
Okay.
I'm not gonna give you 2 for 1.
Why? Nitrogen's harder to come by than oxygen and hydrogen.
For right now, I need both of them equally, so that's not any. That's not.
This is exactly how my life in fantasy football goes. I'll give you a 2 for 1. What are you, crazy? No, you're just like you want like the best guys in the world for some punt returner. It's like okay.
You don't ask for it, you can't get it.
That's right. Okay. All right. So now you would have to discard 1 back.
Yeah, I don't think, because I just don't think there's anything I need.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So now we're back to where we were. So you've already claimed. You've decided not to move. It's my turn to go ahead and claim. And I think this is really like I got nothing to finish. So I think I'm actually going to go. I think I'm actually just going to come up right here and take over calcium oxide.
Something cheap and easy.
Pretty much. All right, so now we go on to research. So you begin with research being able to place 2.
And
2 reds.
2 reds out there.
Dos rojas.
Yeah.
And...
Surprise.
completing- Oh, that's a shocking move.
Oh my goodness.
And I have you to thank for that one. And then I will
Yeah.
also put 1 on nitrous oxide.
Well, that's the gamble of moving things around is you have the potential of somebody else to draw what they need. So, all right, I will go ahead and place a calcium here, and then I will place 2 hydrogen.
Well, see, here's a thought for you. If you want to place that hydrogen on mine, I could certainly say that you'd be the beneficiary of the plus when it happens.
This is true. We're not technically allowed to trade
Before
right
you
now,
place
so.
it, why didn't you place your second
claim?
claim?
I don't have a second claim. I don't know how this got there, so I'll put it back over.
Oh, okay,
my-
gotcha.
My study is only on 1.
It is only on one,
One that
good.
I claim was research. So.
Right. Then I'll be quiet.
That is a good point. So I will do that in hopes that you do that.
There you
and
go.
we will see what happens. All right.
Yeah, see now, there.
That is a good point. So we'll see how it works out.
Wheeling and
Of course,
dealing.
Now it's as the rules say, they are only as good as the scientist's word. So we're about to find out how nice of a scientist.
But you only get to place one of them, not both.
No, I get to place both because I have research
you have
and
3?
I have 3 research.
Then this really worked out well.
Isn't that cool? Yeah.
Indeed.
It's very good.
Awesome.
Almost like we planned it.
Yeah, you'd think so.
All right, so now we go to the lab phase. So
All right.
they go from top left to bottom
All right, so
right. So
go ahead and do that
actually,
one
this
first.
goes first.
Okay.
So these will go back into the elemental bag of holding, as we're dubbing it now, which I like. You will score 6 points and go to 13.
13.
It's amazing, awesome.
Awesome.
And then
back.
you have to choose a scientist to move up one of their experiments.
And I think that we're gonna bring you on par with me on discovery. We'll talk your discovery up one.
Well, you choose me, and then I get to choose which one I want to move up.
Oh,
so, yeah,
okay.
But I will move up discovery.
Yeah,
by
because
all means.
you used
Makes
2
sense.
for me, so I let
That's
you refill
right.
all
There
3
you
of
go.
them.
It's fair enough, right? Okay. And then Kraken Dan scores 5 points from the acetylene and gets to move up his research by 1. Gets his little token back. Now, in addition to your points and everything being awesome, acetylene also has the fire icon, which is going to be volatility. So you score that, but then it acts as though we just drew a lab fire card, which means that everything with a fire icon is going to get a fire token. So the hydrogen sulfide will get 1, the methanol will get 1, the calcium carbide will get 1, and that is it. Now, after you place fire tokens, any compound that has all of their fire icons covered up blows up. So the hydrogen sulfide and the methanol are going to blow up. The thing that would have happened is if there were elements on here, they would have been scattered to other compounds. But because they don't have any elements on there, they're just going to be replaced. So these are going to blow up. They will go to, let's just put a discard pile right there. And now we refill the board. Now, if we draw a lab fire card, it will not trigger because you're not allowed to have 2 lab fires on the same turn.
I was curious about that.
So that would actually be a good thing if we drew one right now.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yep.
5. So this is the first one that could be a lab fire.
And it's not, thankfully. All right, so we have acetylene, calcium carbide, ammonia, and another calcium carbide. All right, awesome. So, key goes to Kraken Dan.
Kraken.
Kraken key, and we go to the discovery phase.
Bag of holding.
Bag of holding.
And that sulfur is no longer as important as it once was.
Not at all. So you should have done some trading, my friend.
There's a couple of them out there.
But you know, we've got a good vibe going here. You're helping me, I'm helping you. He's on his own little
I
island.
know. I don't like this vibe.
I'm a little behind the curve, but I'm ahead on points, so I think that's okay.
So I got some.
Usually it is.
Got an oxygen and a hydrogen.
All right, I will draw 3 because this one is 1 higher. Survey says we will get a red, which is nice. We will get a green, which is nice. And we will get a black. Look at that, a little bit of everything. I got options. I've got options. I like options. You
Whoa,
2 blue.
I got no options.
You'll draw a 3rd though.
Oh.
Yes.
That's right.
There you go.
So I can pick between them.
And now we can do some trading, kids.
All right.
There's a lot out there.
I would be willing to trade Dan my red for 2 blacks
Yeah.
and future favors.
I've got to figure out what direction I want to go.
Usually up the point scale.
I do want extra reds.
Extra reds are good.
All right.
A red for 2 blacks. All right, there we go. There's a red. I get 2 blacks. Absolutely wonderful. Dear sir, what do you have on your
That's the thing.
plate?
I'm looking at it, trying to figure out what I would actually try and complete. And with what I've got, I think I'm actually better. I'm fine where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm going to wind up.
All right, and then I am actually going to get rid of one of my blacks. So
You just wanted me to, and I haven't.
yes.
I will ditch my nitrogen.
All right, so Dan, starting with you, you can move or claim. You have one that you do have on your board you can claim.
Correct. I'm going to put it on. Well, there's 2 of them, so it doesn't really
It
matter.
does not matter.
I will put it on closer to nitric acid
Nitric
here.
acid, okay. And then I'm going to move mine from calcium oxide down to calcium carbide.
Wow.
Pretty crazy risky.
That's insanely cool.
It is insanely cool. And you have a pretty interesting option because you
I could
placed
move.
one.
Right.
Okay.
I can still move one.
You can still move one.
I can't
You
move the
haven't
one I
passed.
placed.
You can't move the one you placed,
Right.
but you did have one that was previously on the board, so you could move your nitrous oxide up to the calcium oxide, but
If I do,
you're losing a point if you complete it, and you needed a red there, which you would have, and you're going to put one less red there. It's
well,
a good
also,
choice, though.
am I the only one left that has a choice at this point?
I believe.
So nobody
yes.
could steal my nitrous oxide theoretically right now.
Except that you'll
now.
be last next turn.
Yes.
Yes, and that would be a problem.
Not for me, it wouldn't. I
Yeah.
think it's a great idea.
For either one of you, it'd be
Especially
fine.
with a blue in my tablet and my workbench.
Right.
I get
Yeah,
that
me too.
brilliant idea.
We are both of the opinion you should do that.
Again, I'm getting the feeling it's 2 scientists against 1. But
Let's feel that way here. I'm going to stay where I'm at.
okay, all right. Starting with you, then you can place elements of your
place
research.
These 2 reds here,
Very
and
nice.
this white here.
Very good. And I will go ahead and place my 3 because I have that level, and cover up calcium carbide.
Wow, if I don't get some research going here pretty quick, but I don't see any research out there for me to get.
Ooh.
Not good.
All right, and that is it. So now we're going to go to the lab phase, and we're going to go ahead and score. So it looks like calcium carbide is the only thing that scores. So these will go back to the elemental bag of holding. I will get 6 points. I will move up my research or my study by 1, get a second token to claim with, and get a pipet, which is really cool. I'm sorry, get a graduated cylinder. I said pipet, it's a graduated cylinder. And this comes back here. Wow. And we're doing good. Now the graduated cylinder says that in the lab phase, I can move any one experiment I own down 1 level to move another one up 1 level. So if I wanted to like move my research down to 2 and move my lab up to 3, I could do, or up to 5, I could do that. But that's only at the end of the lab phase, which technically it is right now. I don't want to do that right now.
Now, what would happen, just out of curiosity, if you took down your study and you had 2 out on the board? Would you have to remove one of those, or would that just...
I would think you would.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it says specifically in the rules, but I think you would. So, and then you would die. What do we do now? Now we die. All right, go ahead, Dan. Refill us up.
Oh,
In the
no!
lab, we have a fire. Okay, so now the acetylene gets a token. The calcium carbide gets a token. The calcium carbide gets a token. And I believe that's it.
Right, I think this one's going to go
That one's going to
boom.
boom and blow up, so we'll take those tokens off and discard it. And we fill this one first, and then that one. You just put that in the discard pile, yep. Bum. Calcium hydride. And...
A big one.
Ooh, what is that?
Whoa.
Hydrazine.
Hydrazine.
That's pretty good. 8 points. Not too shabby there. All right, and then I get the token of love, otherwise known as the key. All right. All right, we're on round, let's see, we are on round umpteen 47, I think. I don't remember.
I think it's 5, but yeah.
I think it's 5 as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and draw, since I have the first player key. Get a carbon, get a carbon. Can I get another calcium? No, I get a hydrogen. All right, that's interesting.
So looking for an oxygen here.
Dangerous.
1, 2, and 3. And I got my oxygen.
Ah, wow.
Yes.
Yay.
That's nice. That is nice. All right. This is going to be interesting.
Well, that is something I wanted.
Well,
Gonna have to be some trading going on.
now
this
see, now
time,
he
I
had a
think.
big rush, but now he's down to only 2 little elements on his board.
Or am I? I don't know.
I don't know.
Safety
right?
goggles might say otherwise.
Might say otherwise. But the safety goggles, I think, are at the
You discarded at the
at the
beginning.
start of the research phase.
At the start of the research phase, I can discard it and draw another
Yep.
2 elements, I believe.
I think that you really want a graduated cylinder.
I want something. And I think a graduated cylinder is definitely on the high
I
list.
would love to give you a graduated cylinder and a white or a blue for one of your greens.
Now, how is that going to work out? So I would need to move to here to get it, which would mean I would be giving you a green in hopes that you would place your only 2. Oh, you get to place 3, don't you?
I placed 3 elements during research.
And
Yes.
you currently have nothing out there claimed. So you would want... Actually, I have an option for you. I would be looking at throwing the calcium and the oxygen your way. That way
Okay.
you could not only claim this guy,
Okay.
but with the other 2, you could place the 2 carbons on there.
Okay.
And I will move down for the second calcium. It's a rather stretchy thing, but
I see what you're saying. Okay.
that way I could get the graduated cylinder, and you could get the
You're gonna let him score
calcium
both of them?
oxide.
No, I think if I understand it right, what you're saying is you'll give me the red and the green
Yep.
for the graduated cylinder and something. One either the red, the blue, or the white. I'm presuming the blue. and then you're going to want to claim this one.
That's one way of doing it. The way I'm thinking, though, you can keep the graduated cylinder by helping me gain this graduated cylinder.
Gotcha. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. Okay. Okay, so you want me to give you the graduated cylinder, but play my 2 blacks on there after you claim it.
Right. And
Because you're thinking I'm going to claim that because I'll have the red.
Actually, I was thinking more along the lines of I will claim this one and I will play my calcium on it.
Yep.
In exchange, you'll play the 2 carbons on it.
That's what I...
Because you're thinking that I would claim this.
You'll still have the red to claim that and get it.
Got it. Yep. Okay, that makes sense.
And that way you keep your graduated cylinder and I have a chance at mine, but it...
I don't know. Then you're only going to give me 3 points and I'm going to give you 6 points. And I don't like that.
All right. So what's the other option? You're looking for oxygen for the graduated cylinder?
You know what? I might be okay. Because if I...
It still doesn't advance... The thing is, it still doesn't advance me on any one of the tracks. So I'm still behind both of you guys on the track. So if I don't find a way to keep scoring points, you guys are going to pass me like nothing. But there's nothing else out there right now for me to gain anything on any of the tracks.
I don't want to trade.
You don't want to trade at
I don't
all?
have any needs. I need blue and a red. I have a blue and a red.
You're going to complete yours.
If I don't want to do the 6, I can do the 4s.
It's true. You're going to complete that. Okay. Okay. I'm good then. I won't trade. I'll be good.
Okay.
Yep.
Unless you just want to give me one of your white one
Give you
last turn.
No, I'm not feeling that.
So I gave you a 20 cost for a 20 cost. Gave you 2 20s for a 20.
Then I think I'm going to go ahead and ditch the calcium.
Okay.
Right.
And I'll just worry about scoring my
and I'm good. Okay, so now it's claim phase.
Mm-hmm.
And I will claim that.
Yep.
Should come from the other column.
It should, yes. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's your unclaimed one.
Figure that out right one of these days.
Because you still have another claim.
And I unfortunately am going to have to just pass.
You're not going to move. You're going to stay. All right. Yep. Makes sense. All right. Kraken Dan, I'm presuming you're
I'm staying exactly where I'm at.
All right. And then I'll make sure to secure myself up here and claim that one as well. All right. So we move on to the research phase. I'm going to go ahead and play...
Hold on. Do I do this now or do I do this at the start of my own?
So
it started research. I don't know if that's my research or your research.
It's the research phase will start and then you go ahead and do it. It's not like we each have a research phase. It's like just the research phase.
So I'm going to dump this and I get to basically do another discover. But since I only have 2 elements on my board, it won't actually...
It won't matter because you'll be able to fill them up. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I will go ahead and...
And while you do that...
These.
Oh, look at that! Sulfur. I'm going to play 2 carbons and my wild card. Calcium.
Genius.
Yes, there we go.
Right.
All righty. Said store owner.
Wow.
He's like, oh, why was I even bothering trading?
So I'm going to play there, and now... Do I have to play the second one, or do I...
You don't have to, but it might cause you hurt
can play,
later.
I believe you can play up to your research level, so you don't have to play a second one if you don't want to, but it may not be a bad idea to get it out there.
I'm just wondering, if I've already got something lined up for next turn, if it doesn't behoove me to not actually put something out. Well, I'm actually going first next turn.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, unless something else were to happen. So yeah, maybe I do want to go ahead and play the nitrogen out on a nice and friendly.
One of the cheapies?
Yeah,
no, for the ammonia.
I think I'm going to go for the ammonia.
All right, that's pretty good. Okay. Dan, your turn.
I'm definitely going to play the blue and the red here. I'm just trying to figure out where
Crazy talk!
Just trying to figure out when I want to play my third. I actually don't see any... Okay, it's right there. I want to play my carbon. And I think there's only 1 carbon out there, am I right?
I believe so.
Okay, well then that's where it's going.
There you go.
I just want to clear the board of...
And it's got 1 fire token left.
I want to clear the board of... To have 3 spaces, I'll be able to draw 3 next turn.
Sure. Okay. All right. So we go from top to bottom. So Eric will score this one. You'll get 4 points. You will get a level on your research.
Nice.
These guys will
finally up to you guys.
Back into the bag of holding.
Here, I'm sorry.
That's right. And that one will come off.
Right.
Then you, Kraken Dan, will score this and get 6.
18, just above me.
And you will go up 1 on your research. Maybe token
Research
back.
goes. Oh, is it research? No, it's
Yes.
discovery.
Discovery. Sorry,
Right,
I said
good.
research.
So I was like,
Discovery, yes.
I kind of had a plan there, and that goes back on top of the
Playing
study.
with plan? That's crazy.
This comes to me.
And then I will score the calcium carbide. That will give me 6 points. It will move me up another on my study, which actually gets me to the journal. So I will get a journal. And this will go back here.
Goes to you.
This
goes
comes to
you.
me.
The card goes to you.
And I now have completed 3 elements of 6 points each and have Satan's lab. So that is the end of the lab phase. So we'll go ahead and refill the compounds in the lab.
I'll let you.
Be at 18 then, shouldn't you be?
I should be at 18, yes. What do you have me at? 17? Just gotta watch these guys.
Wait a minute.
I'm at 17.
You're at 17.
Ah, there we go.
You're at 17?
Yeah, Tox is in the lead again.
Yeah.
All right.
Last time I flipped, it was a lab fire. You better flip.
Usually retailers are better at math. No, I'm kidding.
I think that might be a fallacy.
Settle in. 5 points and a potential lab fire. Ah, the carbonyl sulfide.
Yes, no fire.
And the hydrogen peroxide. Yeah, you would have been really upset. There's
Well,
no
yeah.
fire. It's not that bad. It's only 1, right? But okay, and you get the key.
Awesome.
We're going to stop right there with part 1 of our critical play of Compounded from Wonko's. But stay tuned, we've got many more parts and the grand finale coming your way. In the meantime, let us know your thoughts. Leave your comments below in the YouTube channel. Of course, you can join in the discussion on Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus by searching Crits Happen, or you can join us at our homepage at critshappen.com. But until we see you next time, keep rolling those dice, researching those elements, and we hope they're all crits.